from the youngest age in memorizing Mishnayos, and he had this agreement with his father about being compensated for his memorization, and so his father was well aware about the divine inspiration, just because they had this arrangement of all Mishnayos he knew by heart. And at one point, the Rebbe Cashapp asked him, how long would it take you to say the whole Zelle? How long would it take to all the Mishnayos and say the Zelle? Like, you know something by heart, know really well, you can say it faster, right? Yeah. So he said a number, I forgot the number you said. And that there's another chassid who was much older, who also knew Mishnayos by heart in an amazing way. And the Rebbe Cashapp asked him, his name was Rabbi Yaakov, how long will it take you? And he had a different number. It would take him a little shorter. And then ended up was that the previous Rebbe won the race. He finished the whole Seder Zerayim in much faster than the other one. The Rebbe Cashapp was afraid that it was going to affect the previous Rebbe's power of speech. So Rebbe Cashapp told the previous Rebbe the following teaching from the Rebbe Marash. It says in the Torah, if you will not listen to Hashem's voice, then you will be destroyed from the land that Hashem, your God, is giving you. So the Rebbe Marash explained the inner meaning of this verse. He says, Eretz means desire. Eretz Toiva means a good desire. Mehera means speed. Lose the speed. Your neshama wants to enjoy the words of Torah, the words of prayer. Lose the speed. Let your neshama enjoy the words of Torah and Tefillah. So I thought we were going pretty slow in this Maamar. You telling me we should go slower? All right, no problem.
I don't think that's what he's talking about.
No, but
we shouldn't run Tatzila so fast. It should go a little.
I think he's talking about you listening, how you listen to information coming to you.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It has to
you
be.
listen to information. You listen with 1.5 to 3 times speed, whatever it is.
Okay.
I think that's what it is.
Yes.
I'm guessing.
All right.
You know, if you take the rules,
Because I know I try to listen to when you come in sometimes and try to listen to it. It's Jewish.
If you listen to the world's most beautiful song, then you increase the speed twice, the effect is gone.
It's not a beautiful song.
Yeah.
Okay. Truth is that it's not just meant about listening. It's about davening with it, meditating on it, and taking it inside.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So the Rebbe says, Ein Sof, the infinite light of Hashem is mata alin tachlis. It extends and it spreads and it's revealed lower and lower, and it goes on and on without any limit. And we were learning yesterday how what's novel about this statement is not the expression of the infinite light of Hashem prior to the tzimtzum, prior to the apparent withdrawal of the light of Hashem, when then at that point there were infinite amount of worlds. That's not novel. It's not novel either that in the world of Atzilus, which we were discussing yesterday, no eyewitness reports, but we got into a lot of details about the different worlds of Atzilus, B'Yitziyasiya, and we were discussing how in the world of Atzilus, the fact that in the world of Atzilus that Hashem's infinite light reaches there, it's expressed there, it's not novel. Because in Atzilus, it says that even the vessels are godly. What does it mean that even the vessels are godly? So we got into a little discussion yesterday about how the difference between the body and the garments of the body. Or in the analog, the difference between the world of Atzilus and the worlds beneath Atzilus. Atzilus is called Gufin. It's called a body for the divine light within it. And the worlds beneath Atzilus are called garments. So we were using yesterday the analogy of intellect. There's the way the intellect is in yourself, and the way intellect comes into your feelings as well, your own feelings. And then there's the way the intellect is expressed in your thoughts, in your words, in your actions. And we were going into the different ways that your thoughts and words process intellect. Your thoughts are always in touch with the intellect, always receiving from what's going on in your soul. What's happening in your soul and your intellect and your feelings is right away resonates, right away is received by your thought. Your thought can't turn off your power of thought. as opposed to your words, are not directly in touch with the soul. And that's why you could speak and you could stop speaking. And this was an analogy for the worlds of Bria and Yetzirah, respectively. The world of Bria is called the world of possible existence. The reason why it's called possible existence, not yet existence, is because the world of Bria is called the throne room, as we were discussing yesterday. And in the throne room, everyone is just around the king, focused on the king, in a state of reverence for the king. And so too in the analog, in the world of the throne room, in Shemayim, the souls and angels are in a state of capture, of dveikus, with godliness. So they exist, our souls are angels, but they exist, so to speak, in a state of not real separation, they're attached. Much like our power of thought, which is constantly attached to its source. So it would seem the world of Bria is also like the world of Atzilus, that it's godly, like the world of Atzilus, in the sense that it's only about its source. There's nothing other than its source that thought is about. However, thought is called garments, and Atzilus is called body. Thought, although it's attached to its source, but thought is still about expression to you, to your conscious self. It's not about the soul anymore. It's about the soul's expression to you, to your conscious self. Versus body, the body of a soul, to a soul, although it's not soul, body isn't soul, however, body becomes soul. In other words, when the soul enters a body, it's not that the body has to push the body around for the body to work. The body becomes part and parcel alive, like the soul is alive. The soul is alive and the body is alive. If you saw in that box, there's more Maamar on page Zayin. It's not that the soul pushes the body to be alive; the body itself is alive. And so, in the world of Atzilus, it's called the throne room. I'm sorry. The world of Atzilus is called Hashem's chambers, His personal chambers. What that means is that there's nothing else that exists in the world of Atzilus other than godliness. Even the vessels you would think are about communication, they're about reaching the outside. Even the vessels in Atzilus are not about the outside. The vessels of Atzilus, because there is love in the world of Atzilus, that's why it's possible for a human being to feel love. Because there is all the 10 spheres, because knowledge of godliness in the world of Atzilus, that's why it's possible later on for there to be knowledge of godliness. But in the world of Atzilus, all of the 10 spheres are in the king's chambers, which means all there is the king himself and the king's thoughts and the king's feelings. Hashem contracted his light in order that we should have some understanding of him, to have some relationship with him. Hashem contracted his light into 10 spheres. But in the world of Atzilus, it's about the contraction within godliness itself. It's not about the way it extends outside of godliness. There's no other in the world of Atzilus. Where does other begin? Other begins in the worlds beneath Atzilus. So the fact that in Atzilus there is a expression of godliness, and an infinite light of Hashem reaches there, that's not novel. What's novel is that the light of Atzilus, the infinite light of Hashem extends beneath Atzilus. Let's go beneath Atzilus. Rabbi Yochanan was once farbrengen another chassid, and he was trying to explain to him something. So Rabbi says to him, let me give you a grabe dugme. Let me give you a very coarse example. Atzilus. So yeah, Atzilus is not a coarse example by our standards, any stretch of the imagination. But let's go beneath Atzilus. We're on the line that starts with the words L'nishmasa, Masha Enkin Biyah. Masha Enkin Biyah Himchnas Levushim. The worlds of Bria Tziyasiyah, they are called garments for the light of Hashem. They're not anymore the godly. It's not like a body to a soul where the body is alive itself. Rather, the worlds of Bria Tziyasiyah are called garments for godliness. Just like our own garments, they're forms of expression to the outside, that we wear our garments to go outside. So to the worlds of Bria Tziyasiyah, the godliness is transmitted to something other than godliness. In the world of Bria, in one way, in the world of Yetzirah, in another way, but ultimately it's not godly anymore. It's not the king's chamber anymore. It's the king's throne room. It's the outside palace, the far reaches of the kingdom, but it's not the king's it says in Pesach the prayer we recite every Friday night, you have made many garments for them. The koyal biyashim rakuvushin levado erukim atzilus. The worlds of Bris Yasiya are garments for the light of the vessels of Atzilus. The world of Atzilus, the vessels in the world of Atzilus are considered like a body to a soul. They're not other to the soul. They're alive also, just like the soul is alive. There's nothing other than godliness there. Yes, because of the vessels, it allows later on for there to be the worlds beneath Atzilus, but that's not the atmosphere in the world of Atzilus. Atzilus, all there is hulavad hu menzulas. Atzilus is a revelation of Chachma. Every world is a main sphere. The main sphere of Atzilus is Chachma. What's Chachma? Chachma is a revelation how there's nothing besides Hashem. Okay, but the worlds of Bria Tziyasiya, they are garments for this truth. What's the main sphere of the world of Bria, the world beneath Atzilus? It says the supernal mother nests in the throne, in the chair. The supernal mother refers to the sphere of Bina. Bina is called the mother. Why is Bina called the mother? It's called the higher mother. There's two mothers. There's the higher mother is the sphere of Bina. The lower mother is the sphere of Malchus. Why is Bina called the mother? Because our understanding, what we understand, produces our feelings. Like in Tanya in chapter 6, Alter Rebbe says, why is it that children are always angry and cruel? Because they're based upon what you understand. That's how your feelings are. So that's children understand small things, and therefore their feelings are very small-minded. So the world of Bria, what's its dominant sphere? What's the main sphere that animates the world of Bria? It's the supernal mother. It's the sphere of Bina. The Amy Lokun is Bina Datzilus. The higher mother, the Bina of Atzilus, understanding of Atzilus, that nests in the chair, that nests in the throne room, that nests in the world of Bria. The 6 spheres beneath Bina, they are the main spheres of the world of Yetzirah, and the lowest sphere, Malchus, is in Asiya. Okay, so just for a tiny overview of what we just said. Bina, what's Bina about? Bina, understanding godliness. Bina is about Hashem's truth, but it's about Hashem's truth as it's just what does the sphere of Bina do? The sphere of Bina takes the truth and cuts it up in a million pieces and analyzes it. So Bina is not about the pristine truth itself. It's about the way that truth is accepted, the way it's received. So the Bria isn't about godliness. It's about the way godliness is perceived in the throne room. It's a way that the souls and the angels in the world of Bria, the way they understand godliness. It's about their attachment to godliness. That's what the world is. It's a throne. Yes, the center is the king, but what is the king doing? He is holding court. He is in the throne room. So the world of Bria is Gan Eden. The higher level of Gan Eden is called Bria. Bria is called the higher level of Gan Eden. The main sphere is understanding of godliness. Then there's the level of Yetzirah. The world of Yetzirah, that's where the Chesed and Gvura and Teferes, those are the main spheres of that world. The world of Yetzirah, in the Rebbe's analogy, are angels who are people who have been in the throne room who have now left the throne room. So the world of Yetzirah is about the midas of Hashem. What are midas? What are feelings? Feelings are about the way we relate to others. Spheres, we say on Kiddush on Friday night, in 6 days God made the world. And we emphasize that it's not within 6 days, we say 6 days made the world. And Chassidus explains 6 days, the 6 spheres of Chesed to Yesod that made the world. Each day has its own kind of divine energy. Chesed is Sunday, and Gvura is Monday. So the spheres of Yetzirah are about, what are they about? They're about creation. They're about Hashem's light extending to creation. They're about outside the throne room. They're about the production of the world. They're about what's giving off to the world. And finally, this world related to Malchus. Malchus related to Hashem's speech. And just like our speech becomes separate from us, and we can't take our words back, however hard we try. So too, the world of Asiya is a world where the feeling of the world is, in the Rebbe's analogy, the far ends of the kingdom are barely heard about the king. The world of Asiya is where there's a feeling, a not true feeling, a lie, that there's a separation from godliness. Okay. And that's why the worlds of Bria Tzia are called below, they're called lower in the words of Tikkun Yazer. The infinite light of Hashem goes lower and lower without any end. What is that? What's a novel? Where is that sentence? What is that sentence referring to? It's referring not to the worlds of Atzilus or the worlds before the Tzimtzum. Rather, it's referring to the worlds of Bria, Yetzia, Asiya, which are lower in comparison to Atzilus, and they're called lower. Again, it's not just in comparison to Atzilus. There's a new kind of entity in Bria Tzia. There's a creation of Hashem. It's not called a creation. Atzilus is not called a creation. Atzilus is not even the world of Bria, as I mentioned before. It's not godly. It's something. It's there are souls, our angels appreciating godliness. The world of Atzilus is godliness, and therefore it's not called a creation. Like we say every morning in our blessings, we say, "The soul that you gave me is pure. You created it. You formed it. You blew it within me." Our first sentence is, "It's pure." That sense is referring to the way our soul is in Atzilus. Now, the way our soul has Atzilus-like qualities in this world. It's not. Notice it's not. You don't say you created it, because at the state of purity, it's not a creation yet. It doesn't exist yet. It's a godly being. So where do we? When the Tikkun Yazer says that Hashem's light goes lower, the first thing it's referring to is the worlds of Bria Tzia. That's where there's lower. That's the meaning of the word lower. It's talking about things other to godliness. Otherly. Was that the right word? Okay.
Other than?
I mean, the things which are otherly too. I mean, they're not godly. They're something else. They're garments for the light of Atzilus, but they're not Atzilus. And regarding those garments, in that same prayer that we recited on Friday night, there's a sentence about the garments of the worlds of Yetzia. And the sentence goes like this: from those garments, souls emerge to animate people, to animate the souls come from there. Souls come from the garments. Souls come from the Bria Tzia. Those worlds are called garments, and that's where souls come from. Souls come from those worlds. The Neshamis, and Neshamis to Biyah. Most souls are from those worlds. Bria Tzia. One soul in a generation, the earlier generations, are from Atzilus. What? It's not something that's common at all. Chad b'dara, one generation, in the earlier generations, you have the souls of Atzilus, but aborev neshamis and neshamis b'yah. But most souls are souls of Bria Tzia. Ela sheb'yah gufa neshamis hem pnimim u'machim chetzeim ve'emus chetzeim dechetzeim. Within the worlds of Bria Tzia, there are different domains, there are different chambers, there are different parts. There is the souls, there's the angel, and then there is the world that they are in. The souls are the innermost part of those worlds. The angels are more external, and the world that they are in are more external. So there's three dimensions in each of these three worlds. There's the souls, the angels, and the world itself. The Shtalshus over Biyab and Madrega Sarim Misal Musatar Ha'er Madrega Madrega Achigil Ilmagal next page. Zos Misab Musgash. In Tanya, the Alter Rebbe says how the souls in chapter 31 in Gersh HaKodesh, Alter Rebbe says how souls are the innermost part of the world, and through them the world receives its vitality. And that's why it says that when there's unity in the Jewish people, so then there is a different kind of divine flow. That there's no exile. The divine flow flows in the world. The Jewish people are called the heart of the world, and so when they are when they are at peace with each other, so the flow comes from the heart to the limbs of the body in a perfect way. But if the Jewish people aren't getting along, so then there's some kind of mess up. The Shekhinah is called the heart, and the limbs are called the souls are called the limbs. And if the limbs aren't getting along, so then there can't be a divine flow from the Shekhinah to the world. The souls are the source of the divine flow. They're the innermost dimension of your world. From the souls, it goes to the angels, and from the angels, it goes to the actual world. So that's in every world has these three dimensions. So with the spiritual cosmos descending lower and lower, the chain of divine energy going lower and lower and lower, so the divine energy gets more and more hidden until it reaches the world of El Masiyah Ruchni. It reaches the spiritual part of this physical world, the world of the Galgalim, Mazalis, the world of the angels, called Mazalis, who infuse the physical world. They animate the physical world. The Gemara says that there is no blade of grass that does not have an angel called a mazel that hits it and says grow. So there is the way the divine energy goes into the angels who cause all the worlds to orbit at the Galgalim, and as the divine energy descends to those angels, and they are conduits. Of course, there's no power in the mazolis. There's no power in them at all. They're just like an axe in the hand of the wood chopper. There's no force of their own. But the God's light through each link in this chain, there is an effect on the divine light to allow it to be channeled to the next thing in the chain. The angels are conduits and filters to divine energy, so the energy can get more and more contracted until it's able to animate a physical thing. So as it ascends to the spiritual side of this world, the in this world itself, there's a physical part of this world and the spiritual side of this world. So as it descends to Il Masiyah Ruchni, it gets more and more coarse, more and more physical. All of the divine flow and revelation in this world, this physical world, is through the angels called Mazalis and Galgal. Whoever quotes the sentence I just said before, I read this. I didn't make it up. It's in the script. There is no blade of grass that does not have a angel that hits it and says, "Grow." The sweetness of the crops comes from the sun and from the moon. So there is a divine energy that's coming down to the world through these angels and through the various through the entire chain of the spiritual cosmos. It finally reaches this world. This world, 7 o'clock. This world receives its divine energy from these angels called Mazolis, Galgalim. And this is a real downer. This is a real lowly point for godliness. The godliness is so hidden until it's able to animate the physical world. There's a huge concealment in that transfer of divine energy. And we'll see with Hashem tomorrow how the doesn't just descend to become physical, but within the physical world itself, there's klippa. So we're going to get to the klippa tomorrow. Lots to look forward to.
How do you spell
Klippa.
Gagelim?
Well, learning about klippa breaks it. What?
There's Mazelim, I got that, and Gagelim, what is that?
Galgalim.
How's it spelled?
Gimel Lamed, Gimel Lal Yud Mem.
You skipped it in English.
Galgalim.
I'm sorry, what is this?
Galgalim.
Okay.
Galgalim really means the planets, but it also refers to the angels that move the planets. Everyone said that the angel that moves the sun is a very hyper angel, a very excited angel. We use the word hyper. And that's why he moves the sun so quickly. Yes, he sings a song, and with his song he's so excited, and therefore the sun moves at such an incredible speed because the malach moves the sun. It's lebedik malach.